commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act, Cap C-52, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for related matter, standing in the name of Honorable Mukhtar Shagaya. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 12 October 2023. I now invite Honorable Shagaya to move that the bill be read for a second time.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Mukhtar Tolani Shagaya, and I represent Nigerians, starting from Ilorin West, as a federal constituency of Kwara State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act, Cap C-52, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for related matters, be read for a second time. I so move.
Any seconder? Yes, right honorable.
Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Daniel Asama. I represent the people of Bassa and Jos North local government of Plateau State. I'm on my feet to support the motion as moved by my honorable colleague here. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
You so second, Abi?
I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Those in favor of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Honorable Shagaya, lead the debate.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I thank you for the privilege to lead the debate on a bill for an act to amend the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Amendment Act, which was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Tuesday, the 28th of November, 2023. The Universal Basic Education Commission was established in 1999 to formulate the policy guidelines for the successful operation of universal basic education programs in the Federation and for related matters. To achieve this, UBEC receives 2% of the Consolidated Revenue Fund from the federal government and allocates to states through a pre-existing counterpart funding arrangement and other relevant agencies implementing the Universal Basic Education Program. As such, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the original intention and mandate of the Commission as contained in the extant Act is to provide greater access to and ensure quality of basic education throughout Nigeria. Going by this, basic education is to be provided by the federal government, and it shall be compulsory, free, universal, and qualitative. The extant law establishing the UBEC, while laudable, has not achieved the significant aspects of its set goals as intended. For instance, the issue of out-of-school children still proves to be a multifaceted problem with far-reaching consequences. According to the latest global data on out-of-school children by UNICEF, Nigeria has approximately 10.5 million out-of-school children. Regrettably, a concerning trend also persists as a significant level of infrastructural deterioration plagues the majority of public primary schools across all 36 states of the Federation. Despite the proposed capital expenditure for the education sector in the 2024 budget, its potential impact may be limited. With an increment in school enrollment numbers and widespread infrastructural decay, the situation is indeed daunting. It is imperative that we address this while prioritizing technological advancement and enhancing teachers' training in our basic schools to align with global best practices. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, as we strive towards allocating 20% of the national budget to the education sector to meet global standards, improve the quality of learning, and retain the best hands in the system, we must also remember that access to education is recognized as a human right and one of the key pillars of the UN Sustainable Development Goals to which Nigeria is a signatory. The proposed amendment seeks to increase the share of the Consolidated Revenue Fund allocated to Universal Basic Education Commission from 2% to 4%. This augmentation is not an isolated initiative, but a pivotal component of a comprehensive strategy designed to reform the education sector and propel sustainable development in our nation as part of the Renewed Hope agenda. As stewards of public trust, we are tasked with ensuring that our educational system reflects the values of equity, opportunity, and excellence. The amendment before us today represents a tangible step towards fulfilling that mandate. It aligns with the recommendations of international bodies such as UNESCO and reaffirms our commitment to prioritize education as a fundamental human right as it aligns with SDG 4. In doubling our commitment to basic education, we send a powerful message to the world that Nigeria is resolute in its determination to invest in the future of its children, to break the cycle of poverty, and to unleash the full potential of its human capital. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, it is worthy to note that this bill is in line with the legislative agenda set by the People's House, which was approved and adopted by every one of us in this chamber. Specifically, Agenda 8.2, subsection 1, and I quote, amend the Universal Basic Education Commission Act 2004 to increase the share of the Consolidated Revenue Fund allocated to UBEC from 2% to 4%. The goal is to ensure that the allocation to education meets the recommended benchmark by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organizations of 15 to 20% share of the total national budget. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, in conclusion, the Universal Basic Education Amendment Act is not a luxury. It is a moral imperative. It is an investment in human dignity, in social justice, and in the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, it is my humble conviction that this bill, when passed, will not only enhance equitable and quality basic education for all children of school age, but will equally help in arresting the issue of out-of-school children, illiteracy, ignorance, and poverty. I therefore passionately appeal to my honorable colleagues to support this bill and give it the smooth passage that it deserves. Let us stand together in solidarity with the millions of children who yearn for the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to thrive, so as to ensure that education truly becomes the birthright of every child in our beloved nation. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I urge you to support that this bill be read a second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Alaka. Akala, sorry.
Thank you, my daddy. I remain Olamiju Onlo Ayodeji Alawakala, representing the group from Promotion North, South, Urifa constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, I so rise this afternoon to second the motion as ably raised by my brother, friend, and confidant, Honorable Mukhtar Shagaya. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Yours is out. I do second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
I thought you just wanted to make comments, but we don't need to. You don't need to second. It has been seconded earlier. So we just put the question. Those in favor of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. There's have it. Clerk.